Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Stream Kings. Meet the Kings of Twitch. Oh my God, I can't speak. uh, I am Joystick, Twitch's resident drag monarch, is both a king and a queen, and I will be moderating this beautiful panel of beautiful people right here. Um, let's start off with some introductions, shall we? We're gonna go start off on my left side with Luster Dust. Oh, you're not you gotta unmute. There you go.
Sorry. Here I am talking to myself. Hello, everyone. I'm Lester. Thanks for having me today.
All right, so let's do a short intro about who you are, your pronouns, what type of content you do, and where they can find you.
All right. So I'm Lester. My pronouns are she, her, or they, them. It's totally up to you. As long as you're respectful, I'm happy to meet you. I am a body painter and a makeup artist here on Twitch, and a recent king.
All right, thank you. All right, next up we have Tito Soto.
Hi everyone, I'm Tito Soto. I am currently based in San Francisco. I produce a variety of drag shows, including my own Princess TV, which lives in the Stud channel Stud SF. And then we also have our own channel called Princess Forever, that's 4EVR, where we stream a variety of drag shows from the LA area, the Bay Area, and beyond. Shows like Queer as Punk, Dog Pound, Drago's Auditorium Oddities, and then we also have like a gaming stream called Princess Play that's mostly run by my partner Suda. So yeah.
Yes, Bay Area. All right. Next up, we have Lesbiana.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lesbiana. I am a drag king streamer here on Twitch. I am a non-binary person. Let's see, what kind of things do I play? My pronouns are they, them. The things that I play are DBD, Among Us. I do some Pokemon Shield, Pokemon card openings on my channel as well. So yeah.
Yes, we love Les and their shirtless body. All right.
Also that.
All right. Last but not least, we have Luke.
Hi, my name is Luca Me, or Alien King Luke here on Twitch. I do a variety of streaming between crafting and showing how to make my drag, as well as just recently got into gaming. So a little bit Dead by Daylight, Apex Legends, and Mortal Kombat. My pronouns in drag are he, him, or they, them. Out of drag, she, hers, they, them. And you can find me every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday on Twitch.
Yes, they just did an amazing panel with a lot of our amazing drag artists here on Twitch. Here we go. Hi, everyone. If y'all have any questions, please go ahead and do the ask a question redeem in the channel points down below, and we will try to get them, try to answer them at the end of the panel. All right, so let's get into it, honey. That sounded so bad. That sounded
Trying to
so
support.
All right, so we're all drag artists here on Twitch, as y'all can tell. So we have inspiration. So what are your drag inspirations? Anyone can start.
I mean, looking at my face, obviously Landon. If you couldn't tell. But I mean, obviously, like so many different drag performers of all the different kinds, just like all the performers, even on Twitch, just recently have really inspired me to just like really take on drag. So like, whether it be like in aesthetic or in just like overall personality, like I see a couple of my girls in the chat, Leah and Cookie, like they're my loves and they inspire me all the time too. So those are definitely some tops for me.
Yes. All right. For me, it's very much a lot of video game characters, a lot of leather, as you can see. Recently, I've been getting into like mullets. I'm just obsessed with mullets right now. And I just want to exude alt dembo moments.
Yeah, I feel like. Oh.
Go ahead.
We're all being so polite.
The kings are the most polite people you will ever meet. Go for it.
I love it.
Go ahead.
Flip a coin. Go ahead, Tito.
Oh, all right, I'll go ahead. My my biggest drag inspiration is like very 80s stadium rock. 80s stadium rock. Anything Freddie Mercury, Elton John, George Michael, Kiss. Those were all sort of like my go-tos. I definitely like stray away from those here and there, but I'm very I get really excited about kind of recreating that 80s concert feel whenever I perform live, and very obsessed with like lighting and production in general. So
yeah, I feel like in that same vein, I'm also very theatrical. I've definitely tried to go more non-human route, but I love me some ethereal goddesses like FK Twigs is really big for me. If you follow me on Twitter, you know I stan her and tweet about her constantly. But yeah, so a lot of sort of ethereal sort of non-human things come to my play, as well as like I really love sort of the flamboyancy of like just like really flamboyant like femme men has been a really big thing for me, especially like the butch queens that you see in the ballroom community. A lot of that, and it's sort of been a big thing for me, is showing that it's okay to be flamboyant and male and mask, and it's all cute.
Oh yeah.
I guess my inspirations definitely have been like Landon Cider. I think also Tenderoni, because they definitely have like a very like suave kind of personality. Like they just draw you in, and I just love how they exude that, and I kind of want to do that as well. Obviously, like one of my things is like my shirtless body type of thing, and in playing video games, and so I kind of want to like do that in my drag as well. So
yes.
Heck yeah.
Yes, we love that. All right, so we're all performers. We performed either on stage or digitally, and we all have that one dream performance. So, what do we think? What is your dream performance? Anyone can start off.
I'll start. I kind of got robbed of the opportunity to do it this year, but I was going to perform it for a Pride event, but I will do it eventually sometime in the future. But I really want to do like a very psychedelic type of like Alice in Wonderland type of. I'm very like big production, but like I want to do like a very big like Alice in Wonderland type of like installation drag piece would be sort of the goal. Like I want you to walk in and feel like you took mixed acid and shrooms and weed all the same time, and you're just like, we're along for the trip, you know. I feel like my goal is always to give you that psychedelic experience without needing to take psychedelics. So Twitch, I'm not promoting it in case y'all come for me, giving you the experience without having to actually take it. But if you do, I had nothing to do with it.
Alien in the background be like,
right, yeah, very that. But yeah, I really love really big production stuff and have a theater background, so I would love to bring that into my drag more, as bringing those really big theatrical like art installation type things into my drag, and especially the more psychedelic and unearthly it is, the better.
yes.
All right, go ahead, Lester.
Oh, me? Oh, Lord. I'm such a baby king. I only just had my very first performance just in October there. And that to me was like such a dream in general, because I never thought I would ever get the gumption to do something like that. You know, like I've always been the makeup artist, but never the performer. So I was really lucky to to work with a friend of mine who's a videographer who was able to like really bring my vision to life. And so now I've got like a very high expectation for the future. I feel very similar to Alien, as in the sense that it's just like I want to do everything, the set design, the the different characters, all the different like just crazy things in order to like to show off the artistic side, the more than just the makeup, just the weirdness that's in my brain.
Yes. For those of you that haven't seen Luster's performance, I highly recommend y'all checking it out because it is fucking stunning. I know
Thank
it.
you.
I know I can curse because we're not in the front page anymore. Does anyone else want to go?
Sure. I don't. I've been sort of working towards this sort of goal of mine. I started training in aerial work this year, so that's like
Wow.
I haven't shown anything. I'm like very rocky, very like it's very early in the game for it, but that's something that I hope to showcase more of in 2021.
That's so exciting to take on such a like big new challenge like that. So
Right?
Mhm.
so brave and exciting.
That's
It's-
hard too.
I've always
The
been-
Yeah.
muscle you need for that. Ooh.
I've always been sort of like a drag monkey. Like I just kind of like to cling on to things and hang on things.
Love it.
Live.
If I can combine sort of like my like love for lighting and projection and things like that with that would be great. So the next step.
It's a lot to learn. I mean, especially sorry, go ahead.
No, completely. I when I started this year, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a breeze because I can do this or I can do that. It's like it's not that.
I think a lot of us are really hard on ourselves. I mean, especially when it comes to like, I feel like starting in the first place too, like I was terrified to start because I was like, everything needs to be perfect. And I don't think it really does need to be perfect. It needs to be just like a start. And like, but it's a lot to learn, the videography, the photography, the makeup, the hair, the clothing, everything else, there's so many layers to it. And now you add Ariel on top of it and it's like,
Oh my god.
We love to see it. Okay, what about you, Les?
Let's see. I guess a dream performance. I haven't really thought of like I have like a whole like Spotify playlist of like potential performance songs. And so I don't know, every time I hear like a song somewhere, I get like this crazy idea of like a performance that I want to do, like either like in real life or digitally. And so I don't know. I don't have one. Well, I do have one in particular that I want to do kind of like in a national park. And I just want to have like just like surrounding kind of camera view type of thing. So yeah, that's something that I could probably work towards.
Love that.
I need
Yeah.
walk us all through nature, please.
That's really good.
Yes.
That was a really
I'm here
good
for it.
visualization too.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I have my excuse me. My particular dream performance is very much Dead by Daylight related because I am obsessed with that game. I don't know why, but it's like if I had the budget, the lighting, and someone to hold the camera other than this little arm thingy that I have.
Yeah.
I would definitely just like go full on out and just do a whole Plague performance. I already have the mix all ready, and yeah, like Plague is my favorite killer aesthetically.
Yeah,
So good.
she brings the looks.
Oh,
And the sickness.
definitely. And the sickness.
Yeah. All
I'm
right.
seeing a question in the chat.
Oh, we're gonna do that at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
My bad. Sorry.
You're good. All right. So, when we look at the drag scene on Twitch, right? We see a lot of diverse aesthetics, but it's mainly a queendom. So there's a lot of drag queens, not a lot of drag kings. So what do you think is the why do you think is the aversion to drag kings, and why should we not go towards that aversion, if that makes sense?
I know, I feel like there's always like a kind of like a running joke that like kings are just like bad at technology. Like, you know, in terms of like, I feel like the amount of kings I know, like, we do a gig and like forget to take a picture of their makeup, or like forget to like get videos of their performances. So not that like kings are bad at technology, but just in general, like, I feel like there's less documentation of kingdom, and so therefore like there's less representation of it. And I feel like Twitch is something that, like, it is daunting. Like, I feel like I've been taking 4 months to figure out the technology, and there's still so much I have left to learn. And so like I think it's a lot to handle, and I think sometimes there may not be as many, you know, like if you call on your friends to help you, and I think if you're looking to other kings to help you, there aren't as many online to reach out to, you know, when it comes to that. So bringing that network of like, we're all just getting used to taking pictures of our mugs. Now we got to figure out Twitch. So it's like all these different things is, I think technology is a big part of it, as well as just visibility outside of Twitch is already a struggle enough, and bringing that onto Twitch is a whole other task of like, okay, like we need to get y'all to even know that we exist. Then like we need to get everyone onto Twitch, as well as getting people to know about them. Yeah.
I think it's a representation of what drag culture is overall. Unfortunately, it's just that like I think for a long time kings just haven't had the visibility that they should, because people have, or the general public that isn't drag performers, they have this general idea of that like drag is, you know, transforming from like man into woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like very basic, you know, 2 + 2 = 4, and that's like not the reality, not anymore, not for drag performers. So it really, what I think is like really amazing though, is that like this Twitch drag surge that happened because of the pandemic, it's led to a lot of drag performers and a lot of drag entertainers to like make their own shows, create their own like content that doesn't have to abide by club rules or club or like what a club thinks a booking should be. So because of that, it's given the freedom to a lot of people, I think personally, to create more diverse casting and showcase more kings, and have like celebrate them how they should be celebrated. So I find that really interesting that in the Twitch era, when it comes to drag, I feel like the representation is getting better. It's not fully there yet, but it's I see the right steps.
And people literally have no excuse not to be diverse. You know, I feel like the excuse before people are like, oh, I don't know any kings in my city or whatever. And you're like, okay, probably there. You probably aren't looking hard enough. But yes, I do know that there's some cities have less kings than others. But now it's like you literally have the whole internet. Like, so as long as they are able to film something and send it in, like there's no excuse not to cast kings in your shows or have them in your programming. And so, yeah, I think that's the big thing is like, you know, there's no excuse not to have them. So it's like, yeah, start doing your research of finding them, you know, go to shows, watch them, and find people and put them in your shows. You know, you have no excuse. They're literally, we're all here looking great, ready. Yeah. Right. That.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it kind of like what Tito was saying kind of stems from the social aspect of drag and everyone's kind of very narrowed vision of what drag is and the things that they see on TV with, you know, RuPaul's Drag Race. Just having that, like, yes, that representation in the media and out there is good. But when it comes to diversity and having kings, having AFAB drag artists, having trans artists on there, we need that. Especially now when everyone is going digital and we can't be in the clubs. We can't go out and see those things out there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like as somebody who I like RuPaul was where I started, as a lot of, AFAB women are, so it wasn't until, I think there was maybe like a pre-show where they showed a couple kings that I was like, that exists, and maybe it wasn't even a pre-show, maybe it was like an ad on YouTube or something like that, but that was kind of my first glimpse into it. And then of course, with the existence of Dragula, that opened up a whole new door for us all, I mean, in terms of there being, creepy queens and, gross queens and, glam or, mask femme in between doesn't matter, like that just like, and I feel like people just need that opportunity to have that presented to them to be like, oh, that's a choice for me, like I can make that decision for myself. Oh, I'd love to do something like that. Because in the cosplay community, technically that kind of drag is been existing for so long. I mean, that was my first experience with drag myself. Like I dressed up as Archer and I was like, oh, I'm a hot dude. Like this is fucking, yeah. And so like, and I think people just need that opportunity. And so that's why, you need that little gateway drug to get you in. And I feel like community is a big thing, with the queens, we can say what we will about RuPaul's Drag Race, but they've created a community around the queendom that kind of, well, it doesn't really protect each other, but they, on the outside, they pump each other up and everything else like that. I mean, I don't know too much deep into that other than what you see in the media, but like in terms of like there being exposure in that sense, they're doing the shows, everything else together. That's why something like this today is so important, because you're getting all these kings together, you're showing people that we exist, and that in itself is creating a new community that we can all take care of each other and show each other off and say, hey, we're here and we're also very valid.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that also stems from like, I feel like that's the big thing is like normalizing the validity of drag kings. Like, so like I feel like a lot of people like obviously love queens and like a lot of people love, it's like they love the hair, they love the wigs and all stuff like that. And there's so many different ways to be a king. And I think a lot of times people downplay kings because it's just a different way of a different art form, and so as a result, it's like everyone's kind of looking through the thumbnails of like whether they think it's flashy, and sometimes you're like, okay, but did you tune in? Are you actually seeing the art that's going into what they're creating? And so I think that's a big thing is like there are kings on Twitch. As a matter of like, are you taking the time to get to know them? Are you taking time to tune into their streams and like give them the support and like watch what they're doing and realize like, oh yeah, this actually is really entertaining, or like learn something new here, or I'm watching them play a game really well. Like any of those things are things that I feel like people don't hesitate to do for queens. Sometimes take a little more hesitation to do for kings. And I think normalizing, not doing that and like normalizing like, yeah, like let me go in and support these people and take time to get to know them. But I think sometimes people, when they don't see queen, they immediately like turn off, and it's like, no, like actually tune in and see, and you'll be surprised what you see, and I'm very certain you will enjoy it. I think it's just making people take that leap, and also like it's on everyone to normalize kings and like include kings in your stream and play with them, like include them in the games you're doing, like whatever it is, like normalize kings being around. In that way it becomes less of a weird thing to like tune into watching a king on Twitch,
Yeah.
or on stage or wherever it is.
Yeah, I feel that. Like, I do both king and queen drag, so it's like, I've always noticed that whenever I do king looks, my viewership is a lot less compared to queens, and I'm like, okay, like why is that? Why?
Right.
Like, being a king is just as valid as being a queen. Like,
Absolutely.
there's no like separation. They're both equally the same.
Yeah.
A
And I
five
think
before now.
especially-
Oh, sorry, go ahead for it.
No,
go for
especially I think something weird like that where it's like you're literally the same person. So it's like why that I think it's crazy. It's like you're literally still Joy. It's just a matter of like different makeup. So that's which is so weird because it's like if you were here for Joy as a queen, you should be equally as here for Joy as a king. Yeah. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say sometimes I feel like because we're all illusionists and I feel like we all do it very well, I feel like when it's the beginning and the middle, they don't get it. And then when it's at the end, sometimes they don't see what was there before.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So I feel like even like I find that even just like aside from drag in my body painting, it's a mess up until like the last 2 hours. And so my viewers will be lower until the last sort of 2 hours. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't a certain amount of like bias when it comes to kings versus queens, but I also feel like there also may be that confusion where maybe the illusion is too good sometimes that people are like, yeah, and another dude, cool. Why is he wearing glitter? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think there's a lot more, I think, subtlety sometimes in king makeup that people don't realize. But it's like if you actually watch
Yeah.
someone paint the whole way, you're like, oh, like that's why I love doing series where I like try the king's makeup, and I'm like, literally no mug is taking me less than 45 minutes at the very least. You know, all of them take 45 minutes or longer. It's like all of them are still a process of transformation, no
Yeah.
matter what kind of style it is. Like literally every single mug I've ever done has always been a transformation, no matter like what kind of makeup it is. And I don't think enough people realize that. It was like just as much work goes into a king makeup as it goes into a queen makeup.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
that's the same for like AFAB artists.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They people keep asking them like, "Where's the transformation?" Like,
Mhm.
what? I'm like, the process is there. You just refuse to see it.
Right.
Period. Yeah.
There's more. I feel like particularly there's more to drag than specifically the transformation.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
I think there's a whole lot of more skill sets and apart from just transformation that come into being a drag king. Or like I actually was sort of personally struggling when I was asked to do this panel, which I'm very grateful and happy to be doing this. But I've like struggled with calling myself a king particularly because I feel like I'm sort of occupying the space of others when I do that as a white cis man. And I like call myself like a drag prince just to like feel like that I have like my own lane, but it really stems from like having a lot of people at the beginning of like my career as a performer not really understanding what I was doing, because like like it because I wasn't the drag queen that I was working with, that like I was surrounded by drag queens everywhere and I was never really doing the drag queen thing, right? So I kind of always stuck to my own guns and kind of like did drag performance the way that felt right for me, and I think at the end of the day, drag has to be drag is your own expression and your own take on it, whatever it is that is, you could have not an ounce of makeup on you and still be drag.
Yeah.
Because it comes through in the performance, it comes through in the soul, it comes through in the creativity of it, it comes through in your vision of what you're presenting, and not necessarily everybody's view on what drag is per se. Like what is the whole point of drag is to break the rules. The whole point of it is to not follow the society rules that are brought upon on you. It's breaking them and it's making them your own, and being your own performer. So that's my 2 cents on it, because I just yeah.
That is
Yeah.
actually a great segue into our next question.
Yeah.
So we've all had our "this is it" moment when it comes to drag. So what about drag got you think I want to pursue this?
I guess I can start. I started volunteering for this organization that was helping with youth, and they were helping them through music. And that organization was called Girls Rock, which has like a Washington, D.C. chapter. And so it's like a week-long kind of camp where these youth come and learn an instrument, and they have that 1 week to learn an instrument, get a band together, and essentially just have a song that they perform at the end of the week at a venue. And so I was one of the camp counselors, and so I would kind of help them kind of get together with their teammates. And so we'd have different activities, and one of those activities was to kind of dress as the opposite gender or opposite from what you were. And so I said, okay, let me kind of figure out how am I going to do a drag king kind of opposite from my gender. Um, and so, yeah, I kind of did that. My sister helped me out the first time. I kind of told her like kind of where to place things on my face and kind of help. And then that kind of segued into like my first performance and just me doing my own makeup for myself. And it wasn't that great, but it definitely has helped, and definitely being a streamer on Twitch and having that practice constantly has helped a lot. Yeah.
No one's first ever makeup look
Oh,
always
yeah.
looks the best. It always looks busted at first.
It's always
Oh,
rough.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I definitely had some rough beginnings. I just in terms of like when I started drag, I had very low references for drag kings. So I was like, okay, I guess there's supposed to be like a straight man, and I was like, all right, like kind of figured it out. And I also like I had two dark personas. I had a king persona, I had a queen persona, and like I was like, something's not clicking because like I just want to be both. I was like, why can I not be both? And then I kind of figured out like merging the two, which is why like Luke is a lot more like effeminate and sort of genderqueer. But I was like, I still don't feel like I'm a human. Like I still feel very weird to exist as a human on Earth a lot of times, and so sort of kind of push more into like the drag alien range. Like I did one look with like a rainbow color, so I was like, oh, this is it. I was like, I'm not meant to be a normal skin tone. I was like, okay, this feels right. Like the rainbow, and so I started playing more with like colors, but I was like, this feels more up my alley. And I think that's like Les said, like playing around with things and keep practicing and trying stuff really helped me a lot. Like I think if like by me just thinking about what I thought drag was going to be was one thing, and I was like, okay, it got me started, but it really helped me to keep playing with makeup and trying things out until finally I was like, oh, this like this just feels right on the face, this just feels right in the body. But yeah, I feel like the once I did that multicolored look, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I was like, Luke is not human, got you, okay. Cool. This makes sense.
I had a similar journey. It was like, but it was the opposite. I started off at doing like all the crazy colors first, and then I was like, I started getting into this more quote unquote human look. But I feel like I still can go between the non-human and then the human part. I don't know. It's just me just being weird and just loving to just explore with makeup and just creating just exploring my creativity and all that. I went to art school, so it was like that helped me like just open my eyes to more of the more zany types of like looks and all that. But yeah.
I guess I'll continue. For me, it was sort of like a slow build. I feel like I had my first aha moment when I lived in New York City, like over 6 years ago. I mean, over like 7 years ago. I was like a gay baby. I had literally just come out. Was just being exposed to what a club kid was and a New York drag queen was, and I was just in love. I like immediately was hooked. And I knew that I remember telling my roommates at the time from like back home in Puerto Rico, is being like, I really want to lip sync. I like feel like I would be good at it. I want to perform, but I never saw people like me out there, like at all. So it was very like, I felt insanely afraid. And it kind of like, you know, like a year later, I decided to move to Los Angeles, and I was working like my very corporate. I used to be a theme park designer, so I used to be very like in an office all day, every day, drawing on AutoCAD, like all day, every day. So I started developing drag as a hobby over there, and as I started meeting like people in the Silver Lake scene, and particularly my downtown LA scene that sort of exploded over the last couple of years, it just like over time I started giving it naturally more and more energy because I became more and more in love with it and more, and you know, you get better at it, you get more enthused about it, more excited about it. And now it was sort of when I started traveling and doing shows while I was traveling, that's when it clicked for me. It was like, okay, this is what I want to do. This is the path that I've been going in right now. This is really what I feel like I should be doing right now. And we'll see where that takes me, because like you never know what's gonna happen, right? But it's like that's been sort of the journey. It's like a slow build up until a moment where like, you know what, I can't fight this anymore. I'm not gonna go back to the corporate life. Like fuck that. You know. Oh, sorry for cursing. I don't know.
I think we've all been swearing this whole time. It's second nature by now.
We're not on the front page. It's fine.
As soon as you said that, I was like, all right, game on. I mean, I feel like I kind of answered that a little earlier when I was saying, you know, like cosplay was kind of my gateway drug. You know, I hadn't really, you know, I had a little experience with, you know, drag, but it was more so queens rather than kings. And so when I had first transformed myself, it was like, I was all about the male characters. I did like Archer and Green Lantern and Green Arrow. And, you know, I turned myself into Dr. Spock, and I was like, God, this is so much fun. Like, and it gave me so much confidence. Like, I've always been such an insecure female. And just like everything about beauty is like, it's been my life because I've worked in cosmetics my whole career, but I've never felt comfortable in it. I've never felt comfortable being entirely female. It's always been like a weird division for me, and to be able to like express that other side of myself just by, you know, feeling comfortable and somehow masculine. I don't know. Maybe you guys might be able to, you know, touch on this at some point, you know, in what the feeling is, but it's just that form of escapism almost. I don't know how to explain it other than that, you know.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. Like, I feel like I'm someone, I definitely love to suppress my feelings a lot. I mean, Aries. No.
Oh my God.
It's a Scorpio moon, so I have feelings, and I hate that I have feelings. No, I know I've become the astrology gay, and I hate it, but I love it.
Oh my God, it's so true though.
But in terms of like, I feel like I always joke how like Luke is such a sad boy, but it really is. It's like, okay, like I feel like outwardly I don't express a lot of my anxiety and a lot of my feelings, and so like drag has been a way for me to express that, and especially with like that feeling of not feeling like a human being. Sometimes it's like if that's sort of been my outlet of like, okay, like sometimes I just like feel like I'm walking a planet, I'm like, is this real right now? Like what are people doing? I don't want to get it. And like, you know, so like that's sort of been drag is my way to process a lot of my life around me and like process my feelings. And not that all of it is like therapy for me, but I feel like I've enjoyed some of my favorite numbers are the ones where I really get to express how I'm feeling about a certain subject or just how I'm feeling that current point in my life. And that's sort of been really liberating to me, because like I came from a theater background, so like art has always been a part of my life, but I feel like drag has been the thing that clicked the most in terms of expressing myself the most, and is giving me the best outlet to do so, just because of you can make it so much of your own.
No, I totally agree. I mean, like just the fact that, you know, like you said, you get to express yourself, and like that's one of the most beautiful things I think about drag is like you don't have to do that. You can be goofy and you can kind of just like, you know, do whatever you want, but you also like it's so accepted to bear your emotions and say like, hey, this is hurting me right now. You know, you guys aren't alone in this. I'm feeling this too. I know some of you are feeling this. Just know that like I'm here for you in whatever way. And just like having that validation, I think is so healthy for everyone at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah, I feel that so much as an emotional Cancer.
How do you think about this feeling? How do you do it?
Come on, star signs.
Oh my God, how do you do it?
I'm so emotional when it comes to literally everything. Like a little sadness and I'm like bawling. And I just wish that I could like put maybe more feeling into the things that I create, or like the performances and stuff like that. And so that's why, like with my dream vision, that's kind of what I wanted to do, is like to convey like emotions in that as well.
Yeah, as a double Virgo,
Crazy.
I
She loves all the signs. She loves all the signs. Let me stop. Go ahead.
I am filled with emotions, and I feel like I definitely use drag as like therapy 100%, whether it be through like the sense of like drag family and having people around me from my drag family that are therapeutic to me, to the sense of like actually performing my feelings. And you know, like kind of like I like the process of like accessing this kind of like um little box in your heart for this particular performance because it hits you in this right way, you know, and just kind of like letting that out, and seeing the final product after, being proud of the final product, and being like, you know, that experience that made me feel that way sucked, but this performance is sickening.
Yes.
So like if that led to this and I am better now for it, then it's kind of like, you know, I'm good. I let's keep moving, you know.
Growth forever.
Yes. All right. Thank y'all so much for answering those questions. We have about 13 minutes left. I don't know how to do math. Actually, no, 18 minutes left. So we're gonna move on to our Q&A. So, if you want to ask a question, go ahead and do the ask a question redeem point, and you can use 50 channel points. That's pretty it's pretty attainable. All right, so first question is from the Saint Sako. What is one way we can help and uplift drag kings with support?
Hang out with us in our streams, you know, come to our performances. Even if it's just like throwing some hearts in the chat, we're in there, like we're watching, we see all that stuff. Like during my first performance, I cried my eyes out because like just all the hype that happened in the chat, and that alone, I'm sure you guys will agree, like that just like that validation is all that we need to keep going sometimes, because we're just like reaching out, hoping somebody will grasp on to what we're doing.
Yeah, book them yesterday,
Yes.
book them tomorrow,
Yes.
book them twice,
Yes.
thrice, 4 times, 5 times.
Mhm.
Like give them the platform to create and showcase all the ways that they can be, so that it's not just, you know, one time. It's like, you know, consistently book them. I think that's
I was saying also, like, if you see yourself being cast in something with a cast that is like all of one demographic, like call it out. You know, like ask your, you know, the show's like, hey, have you considered putting kings in the show? Have you considered putting POC? Have you considered putting trans artists? Like, you know, I think that sometimes we as artists feel a little scared because someone booked us and we're like, if I say something, will they unbook me? But there's nothing wrong with like saying in a polite manner, like, hey, I've noticed that we have a very white cast, or we have a very queen only cast. Have you considered putting a king in it? You know what I mean? Like, it never hurts. Most likely that person probably just didn't think enough to cast them. And I mean, if they're really against putting a king in the show, then I would maybe consider whether or not you want to be in that show or not.
Mhm.
You know, like if they're against making the show more diverse, then I would be like, why is that? But most cases, people just aren't always thinking. So like address it and be like, hey, I've noticed that it's not looking as diverse as it could be. Can we do something about that? And yeah, I agree. Show up, tip, give hype. You know, all those things mean a lot, especially if you're another streamer on Twitch and know what it's like to like get all those things and help your stream keep going, do the same thing for kings.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you see new ones, baby ones
Yeah.
that are have little viewers and
Mhm.
everything else like that. Get in there and just like make them feel good about what they're doing, because
Right.
that's what we need.
And everyone starts at that level of having, you
Yeah.
know, talking to themselves for an hour and then having some people pop in. Like everyone has that,
Yeah.
and give them the support that they need that they may not be getting right away.
Yeah.
Oh
'cause-
yeah, and
Go ahead.
and even like going off of what Luke said, for even for that one, you know, that one gig that you're not going to have, there's probably a million other gigs that
Mhm.
people are, you know, either searching on Twitter for artists, Facebook, any like
Yeah.
social media.
There can be a million gigs in a room.
Exactly, exactly.
Very that. Yeah.
All right, we have this next question from E Roscoe. So, the Team Stream Queens has a really big imbalance of kings versus queens. Are there any thoughts about continuing to encourage and support kings on Twitch in the future?
I mean, I know London's been pressuring me a lot to do this, but I am applying
Do it.
so I can get on
Do
there. I know
it.
everyone's been saying that, so I'm like, I'm gonna do it. But yeah, I think that's the thing, to be see kings out there. Like, so I think sometimes everyone gets a little scared to like make them like always making big steps in whatever they're doing. So just encouraging people, if you see someone and you're like, hey, I really think you're really awesome, encourage them to do it. Not every king may know about stream queens, even though they're big. Like I think everyone thinks it's basic knowledge about everything on Twitch. So like if you see someone, like bring it up and let them know, because they also just honestly may not know that that's a possibility for them. And just, yeah, I think encouraging people to do so. Yeah, sometimes people just need a push and just need you know, someone to support them and to say, yeah, do it, you know, or multiple people saying, yeah, do it, and
Yeah.
then be like,
Yeah.
do it.
Literally.
You know, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing to do, is find the kings and encourage them. Yeah.
So before Stream Queens was a thing, I literally could not find I could literally count all the amount of drag kings in one finger, or in not one finger, one hand. And as soon as Stream Queens became a thing, there's been a lot more drag kings coming out of the woodwork, and I feel like, but still, it's not enough. Like, I still am having a hard time just looking for kings. So, if you are a king and you're watching this, apply to Team Stream Queens, please.
Yes.
Apply. Contact any member of Team Stream Queens. We will give you the application. The link for applying is apply.streamqueens.net. It'll take you to the application. Do it.
And if you're thinking about starting drag and you're afraid, I'm sure all of us will say our inboxes are open. If you have any questions, just like reach out. Like, you'll never get a no unless you ask.
Yeah.
And you have no idea how many yeses you'll get if you just ask. So don't be
And,
afraid
like,
to reach out.
Kings are also some of the most supportive people I know. So literally, like, the amount of kings that will like jump at the chance to like give you any kind of encouragement, like truly, like I feel like so many kings love to see more kings in this space. So like truly, like if you're thinking about starting drag and thinking about being a drag king, any king out there will probably be like, yes, here's so many ways I can help you. You know, like I truly, there's just no reason why you shouldn't take the leap if you really want to. Like, go for it. We got you.
You'll be so happy you do too, because then you'll look at all the years before and be like, God, I like think of all the ways this could have just saved me. Because it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we have this next question from the Saint Sako. Can a cisgender man do drag as a king?
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Tito.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, like I said earlier, that's just sort of been my own mental struggle with it, where it's like I don't know what to call myself, and I decided to call myself my own thing, so that I wouldn't be occupying the space of other people that deserve the visibility as well. So, but you know, a lot of people call me a king. I don't particularly call myself that. I'm just a drag entertainer and drag performer. And I'm extremely happy to be here representing what I am,
Yes.
which is just truly 100% me. And I think sometimes like with drag labels, it's just like it gets so like boxy, and the whole point of drag for me is to break out of boxes. So that's like my own take on it. Um,
Yeah,
At the
that's
end of the day,
exactly how I
it's an art
feel.
form. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an art form.
Yeah.
Do it.
Mhm.
Like as a person that was assigned male at birth, even though I identify as non-binary, like here I am moderating this panel.
Yeah.
Um so yeah, definitely. You can do drag king as a cis man. All right. So, next up from Chad, how do you circumvent the challenge of finding glam or show ready drag apparel that is more masculine? There is a definite imbalance in the accessibility of those types of items compared to more feminine ones.
I think that's something I address a lot on my stream with like making a lot of stuff is, um, you know, I think, Instagram has been a big source for me in terms of finding a lot of designers I like, and figuring out like sort of like what is my aesthetic, and figuring out like, the masculine things I like. And I think people always think of like glam as one thing, as like, oh, it's just about rhinestones, but there's so many ways to be drag with, like, you can't, like, Tenderoni is a great example of a king who loves a good rhinestone.
Mhm.
He stones also for himself, which is like the goobery. But other ways to be glam and high fashion, whatever, without needing that. Like, people forget about color and texture and silhouette, and there's so many different things you can do to a look to make it look extravagant. And also it depends on like what fits you. It's like everyone is show ready, just a matter of like what fits their aesthetic. But I think getting away from the idea that everything needs to be a rhinestone leotard, which is like, that's valid and totally fine, but also like there's so many other ways to be amazing. Like, my partner is also a drag performer, and like, they don't rhinestone the things. They have a lot of really colorful suits, and that's their thing, is like the color that they bring. So it's all about like whatever it is that speaks to you in your aesthetic. um I think the biggest thing when people look for like the glam and show ready is like the level of polish is what people are looking for. And I think that's what it is when the people say like glam is looking for like polish. But that also does not mean that that's the only way to do drag.
Mm-hmm.
um
I
yeah.
think I think like show ready doesn't necessarily like, oh, what is the most glamorous thing? It's like, what is your vision of your drag performance, and what is the 100% like manifested version of that?
Yeah.
That is like what being show ready is to me. I've seen incredible, amazing, tear jerking, like emotional performances happen in just like white jeans and a t-shirt and barely makeup.
Mhm.
And that to me, like, you opening up your heart to me and showing me what you're feeling right now is the most show ready thing I could be asking for. Like,
Yeah.
so it really, like, the concept of like, oh, whatever's the most expensive looking, or whatever's custom designed or whatever. No, like, your drag is personal to you, your own personal experience to it, what you're feeling at the moment, and what you want to convey to the world. And like, what is show ready is like to you. It's like, what's your own personal like feeling of like, okay, I want this performance to do this, so I need to look like this, or I need to perform like this
Yeah.
in this setting. It's like a combination of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. For me, mine is like, obviously I do show quite a bit of skin as part of my aesthetic.
Woohoo!
Same.
But like
Yay.
in my like performance, like what Tito was saying, like depending on what you're doing and what fits for you, you can either go with something simple, and if it conveys that message that you're trying to do within your performance, then that's all you need. As far as like on Twitch, for me, like I do, do show skin. I do more like comfy kind of things with like plaid shirts, stuff like that. And just with my aesthetic, it helps. Yeah.
I mean, you want to look at things like music videos, right? I mean, in some music videos, it's just like
Mhm.
chill, urban, whatever, and then some stuff, it's like suit and tie, hair's done, everything else. It's like
Yeah.
Tito said, it's the message you're trying to convey. I mean, having a good knowledge of your colors and what certain emotions and feelings are triggered by those colors. Like you said, wearing a simple white t-shirt, that can be really impactful. It's just about, you know, you being comfortable and you being happy, because if you're comfortable and happy, that's going to show through in your performance, right? Because at the end of the day, it's the performance, right? You can have the look, but if you don't have the stage presence, then it's like, oh.
Right.
Here for the people in the back.
All right.
But yeah.
We're gonna take one last question before we go into our outro. This is from I can't read this name. Skinamarinik. Any advice?
Yeah.
Yeah. Any advice for kings just starting out?
Practice.
Go ahead.
Practice is
Yeah.
more practice, you know, kind of look at some of the, just kind of figure out what your inspirations are, what kind of message you want to give off, aesthetic you want to give off, and just kind of look up things that way.
I would say also, like, don't get discouraged. I think a lot of kings sometimes get discouraged just by like the drag culture, and like I feel like you want to find a right balance of, like, obviously, like, yes, there's gonna be people who are gonna be weird about it because there's still a lot of issues even in the queer community about like interacting with kings and misogyny and transphobia and whatnot. But I think ultimately, at the end of the day, you were there to create your art form, and don't feel discouraged because someone may not react as well. As like, for every person that may feel weird about a king, there's also like 20 other people who love kings, you know? So it's like, gravitate to the people that are giving the love and support, and be like, you know what, there's always gonna be someone who's not here for it. There's also always gonna be people who love it.
Yeah.
And those are the people that are in your corner, and focus on those people, and like surround yourself with those people that, you know, are there to uplift you and see your art for what it is, and don't let anyone make you feel like you're not doing something that's not valid.
Right.
Yeah.
Such a good point to make, because the people that are closest to you are the ones that are gonna kind of influence you, and if you don't have a good support structure, it's all kaput.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, thank y'all so much for those questions. Where can people find you? We're gonna go back with our intro. So, who are you? Where can we find you? And what is your streaming schedule? We're gonna start off with Luke.
Yeah, you can find me at twitch.tv/AlienKingLuke, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, usually starting around 5 p.m. ish, depending on when I wake up, because I'm fully a vampire, or do my manic 3 a.m. streams. Really depends. But yeah, you can find me there 4 days a week on Twitch. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. All right. Let's go with Les.
Hello. Well, yes, you can find me at twitch.tv/lesbayana. My streaming schedule is more kind of like 2 or 3 times a week. I still don't have a set schedule. But yeah, if you just check on my page, you can, you know, go to my Discord, and I post there, as well as my Twitter and my Instagram. And yeah.
All right. Tito.
So I don't have like a personal Twitch account per se, because like my account is digital drag shows account basically. So it's a Princess Forever account, Princess the number 4 and then EVR. And we stream a variety of drag shows from San Francisco, LA, and beyond. We also host my party called Princess TV. That's at the Stud channel, because it's a party that started at the Stud, and will remain at the Stud until the Stud finds its new home. But over at Princess Forever, we're currently doing our 12 streams of Christmas in hopes of becoming partner at the end of the month. Fingers crossed.
Yes.
So like we'll see if it manifests. I'm actually headed to run one of our shows tonight at 7 right after this, which is going to be a circus and drag cabaret hosted by Dragonessa, who's also an incredible drag king as well. I'm sure you've seen them in your digital drag shows hanging off by chains. So yeah, that's what's up with us at the moment.
Yes. Princess Forever for partner. All right.
Yes.
Last but not least, we have Lester.
Me. Well, you guys can find me here on Twitch at Lesterdust, just as you see it right now. I stream every Sunday. Start times vary in between, like, oh God, I'm Canadian, so Mountain Time. I stream around like 3 to like 6 p.m. is when I start, and I go all the way to late in the evening. I stream randomly as well, but Twitter, Instagram, and all that other kind of stuff. All my handles are the same, Lesterdust. Definitely recommend that you check out my TikTok as well, because I'm a wild monkey on that app, and I definitely recommend that you see my weirdness over there.
Yes, we love TikTok.
Yes.
Just for those of you that don't know, that we do have a dynamic follow button on the right side of the panel. So just go ahead and click that green heart, and it should take you to all those channels where you can follow. Yes. All right. We are a minute over, but thank y'all so much for tuning in. Hopefully, I can't speak. I hope y'all enjoy the next panel, and I hope y'all have an amazing rest of the con. Bye, everyone.
Thanks for having us.
Much.